Jarvisbiker. Week from hell. The week from hell. Nothing to do with COVID. My God. 4 trips. This is the 4th trip. Every other one of them, microphone error. SD card error. I finally switched over to the Cardo helmet with the other microphone in it, and we're rolling. Frig. Nothing worse. Tested them out. Yeah. Frustrating. So I scrapped the microphone system in that other new helmet. I don't know whether we've even announced that there's a new helmet. There's a whole bunch of new stuff, and it keeps getting missed on all the videos. So right now, IS Max 2 helmet, modular, the shiny black, same as this one, but modular, and just gonna turn on the jacket here. The microphone I used in it was the one I pulled out last year because it was being kind of funky, and I tested it without it being in the helmet, and I put it back in the helmet and I tried it and everything was fine. And then I went out for the first ride and everything was okay. Second ride, well, first ride, nothing the matter with the microphone, but SD card error on this camera and the helmet cam. So basically we had the rear view and that was it. It's okay if you want to see where you've been all day long, but so then the next ones after that, the next 2 were microphone, no sound. You could hear me talking, but very faintly because it was just ambient noise. So fixed that, and well, I just switched helmets, put this camera onto it. So things you'll notice is the case for this camera is different. I caught it on another moto vlogger's box opening review of it, and he gave it a good review. So, and yeah, the camera's loose. Nice. So he gave it a good review, and it's waterproof. So now the power, I can run with the power on until it starts raining, and then I can just yank the USB cable off and snap it shut on the bike, and I can run off the battery there on that view. I'll have to switch this one out to the Hero 4 Black with the audio pack on it and the sealed unit, and so when I'm going to be running in the rain, that's the rig I'm going to be running. They have another unit like this for the Hero 7 Black, but it's not two-way, so the audio cable doesn't work. It's only for charging the battery, so that's why it's on here. Otherwise I'd have that little one on the helmet and the big one on the handlebar. But until they come up with another cable that's dual, then we'll have to wait. So that sure was frustrating. That was a lot of video, a lot of talking. Came home all proud of myself. I'd done a really great job, and then I ended up, I had nothing. It was Jack. Nice video. I could put some music to it, I guess. So right now we're headed westbound towards Simcoe, Ontario, and we're on Highway 3. And I haven't had any lunch, and it is 6:16 p.m. So basically I had a cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee and 2 donuts all day, and I'm starving. I'm starving. So, been a busy boy the last couple of days. Lots of people at work. Taking time off because of the COVID epidemic. Most of them are people at home that are in jeopardy, so they decided that it was in their best interest that they not be around everybody else, so they've secluded themselves. And that's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm actually happy that they did do it. I think one guy had somebody show up at his house before he got home, and they were actually sitting in his kitchen when he got home, and they just got off an airplane, so that shot him out of the working world immediately. So we're having to make do. We're having to step in and help out and do stuff I used to do 15 years ago. Before I got smart, started pushing keyboard instead of pushing wrenches. The other thing that I don't know whether it was on the first video or not, but new Garmin GPS, the 590 XL, LM, whatever the letter designation is. Just getting used to it. It's a little bit different than the TomTom. The reason I got it was the TPMS system that Garmin has. So I have the sending units, I just haven't put them on the tires yet because I want to change out the valve stems. You have to have steel valve stems, and I have the 90 degree, but they're actually rubberized. They move around, so they're not really rigid. So I thought, well, that will make them work, and having that weight on the end of them, it could cause me a problem. So I've bought new valve stems, short, straight, super short, straight valve stems that I can get installed. Front tire's due for change right now, and the back's got about 3/4 rubber still on it, so I will probably have them change the front tire, and I'll have them change the valve stem in the back tire and get everything set up for me so I can see my tire pressure while I'm rolling down the road. I really like that feature on the Concours, and of course this is the base model. It doesn't have it. I don't know whether in 05 if they ever had it. So I'm happily anticipating that. I was under the impression that I might try a car tire on the back, but I've since read up a little bit, and not the Goldwing groups. I'm actually reading up Goldwing, exclusively Goldwing mechanical shops, and things that they're saying. And one of the things that they're saying is final drive, one of the bearings, it's hard on one of the bearings because of the flatness of the tire, and it puts torque on that one bearing in the final drive, and if it's weak to start with, then it could cause you a bearing failure. A lot of noise. You'll hear the noise when the bike is on the kickstand and the tire is spinning. You will actually be able to hear the noise at that point. So they had one in diagnosing it for noise in the final drive. There was a little bit of a video, I believe, and they were saying that it does have the car tire on it, and that's probably what maybe finished the bearing or initiated the failure, one or the other. So I was wishing or hoping that it would be it's the law. I was hoping that they would it would be okay to use, but right now I'm gonna go with maybe not. I got an older bike. I'm trying to make her limp through, put some high mileage on it before I deal it in, and hopefully by then the 18 and up version will be, number one, have all the bugs worked out of it, and there'll be some bargains out there. Some guys that are giving up riding and have them and want to sell, they might be able to get a good deal on one about, a few years from now. So we're working this one to the end. So the GPS got the TPMS system in it. That's why I bought it. Otherwise I'd have stayed with the TomTom. I was quite happy with the TomTom. I really liked it. I've been working with the Garmin software, Basecamp, and Google Maps, working on pulling routes out of Google Maps and putting them into the Garmin. So I tried it once, and it seemed like the Garmin changed the route. So I don't know what I did wrong, or if there's a setting I have to do that it can't change it. So we're still learning. Beautiful day, 52 degrees Fahrenheit. It was 55 last night. Didn't have the sunshine like we have tonight. Oh, and I went around the Lakeshore Road up Turkey Point Way and up towards Long Point and around Long Point Road and come back down. And while I was on the Lakeshore, I came past, there was a group of 4 bikes heading the other way, all crotch rockets, and I waved, and they turned around and were following me. I had the trailer on, so I gave them a little lesson along the lake shore. It took them a while to get enough straightaway that they could get by me. So, and Goldwing with the trailer on, keeping a bunch of crotch rockets held up. So I think they learned a little bit. So, COVID causing havoc throughout our world. Nobody close by yet. My daughter works in the medical field, and she's a busy girl and quarantined from her kids. They're with her father, and she's going to work, and she works in one of the local children's hospitals. Kudos to her. She's doing her part, and I'm kind of proud of her. And don't tell her. Yeah, and so you're worried sick about her too, that she's going to catch it. She's right in there where it could possibly be, but they're trying to look after all the details, and it sounds like they're doing a good job so far. And the other two hospitals, some damn doctors went on vacation in Hawaii and came back and went straight back to work and brought it right into the hospital. And, you know, there they are. Great job, thanks. Wasn't her hospital though, thank God. And yeah. Beautiful day, beautiful ride. So I've got the heated pants over my jeans, and I got the jacket, heated jacket under my bike jacket, so quite comfortable. Boots are nice and warm. I'll probably have to turn it off after a while. So I did put a voltage gauge down there. I put it down there so that I wasn't copying anybody. I thought about putting it in the speaker, but a lot of guys got it up there, and I didn't want to be copying anybody, so I put it down there. It's just above my eyesight for past my knee, so I can look down at any time and actually see it clearly, and so it's pretty good. So we've been running like 14.1, 14.2 voltage all along. The numbers are in blue LED. Looks kind of cool with the silver bike. Imagine it look kind of neat in the dark. So, and things left to do is oil change, check the front brake pads and see if they need changing. I have a set of front and rear, and I got to change the rear, I believe. And she's ready to roll. Oh, and do the trailer bearings, do all the wheel bearings and that on the trailer hubs. And we're ready to roll when they open the border up. So we missed out on our Caribbean trip. We were going to the Dominican Republic on the 24th of March, so that finally Air Canada relented and canceled the trip. The night before they canceled it, they were still telling us that we were going, but we were being moved to a different resort with a whole bunch of other people and that we wouldn't have choice of room and a whole bunch of other crap. And we paid an arm and a leg for that trip. Like, the wife really biggie sized that one up, being the last one of the season, and we were by ourselves, and you know, it was going to be ocean view, and you know, the adult section, primo room, primo booze, primo service, and we ended up here getting sent to the Holiday Inn almost. So we just said, no, we're not doing that, and then we're not doing that. And then they came back the next day, called the travel agent and said, what's this bull? And she's like, what are you talking about? And so I explained everything that was in the email that Air Canada had sent us. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I've never heard this. Like, she's like, she goes, you need to send me a copy of that email, because she says, I don't believe you. Nice car. Ladies. That road's been tore up since last summer, and they're still not done. I think they ran into more than they thought. We should be going down this road, but we gotta turn. That's a good road. Ooh. Biggin pothole. Alright, so what's the next thing on our list? The front forks. So over the winter I had added fluid because I knew that the one on the left side weeped a little bit there for a while last summer. Not a lot, just left a little black ring of dust at the top, and it was wet, oily wet. No dripping or running down the side of the fork or none of that nonsense going on. But I figured it would be low, so over like a 2-day period I added fluid, and I don't know, I must have forgot to add, but I didn't take it back out to the proper level. Anyway, I went out for a ride, and the suspension seemed extremely stiff. And then I hit a pothole, and then I realized that it was damn too much fluid in it. So I got back the other night. I took the caps off before I went out for the third ride, and I kind of did a calculation. Okay, if the fork was down and the spring was out, and you know, it would be this far over the, it would be this far up, 5.5 inches down the level of the oil, blah blah blah. So I just decided on a measurement, and I thought we'll try this. And I used my brake fluid primer vacuum pump to pump brake fluid out of the brake system, and I drew a line on the hose, and I did like small thin surgical hose, and I slid it down past the spring, in the spring, and down to the bottom to the line, and then I vacuumed out the fluid, and it collects it in a little jar. So I took out quite a bit. I took out pretty well a container of both. It's not a big container, but yeah, I took out probably half a cup full out of both, and put it all back together. And now I have to measure that hose mark, and then I'll know, because to tell you the truth, it is smoother now than last year. So I may have been on the high side by just a minute amount and caused the suspension to be super stiff. So, and if it was that, I'm really surprised I didn't blow the seals, because there was 2 hits. There was on the trip to New Hampshire, when I was alone, and I think it was either a very large dog or a very small deer, and I was riding along, and I had lots of room between the vehicle in front of me with a turn coming up to the right, so I was ready for the turn. And it was a high speed, you just rolled through the merge and away you went, right? But this guy pulled past me, sped past me, and jumped in front of me, and then blocked my view of the road. And then right after that, he straddled this, whatever it was. And of course, I hadn't backed off far enough that I could do anything about it, and saw it at the last minute and went, oh man, I'm gonna lose my front wheel for sure. And I hit that thing, and I believe I cut it in 2. There's no way, but it was a hard hit. But I think we chopped that, whatever that beast was, up. So, and then the other one was on my trip to Memphis in October over the Ambassador Bridge, and it's actually in the video that I hit this thing. And it was a hard hit. And I think, probably thinking back at it, that's because I'm riding along now, and it's like soaking up all the little bumps where last year it was. So I think maybe there was some funkiness going on. The only other thing it could be is that something was jammed, and when I hit the bump this year, it jarred it loose, a valve or something in the shock. But it's not rigid, it's very supple, and I'm actually quite impressed. So pleased, because I had nothing to judge it by, because when I bought the bike and rode it the first season, there was hardly any oil in the forks. Where it went, I don't know. If the seals were bad or not, I don't know, because we changed them when we took the front end off to change the steering head bearings. So all new all balls seal kit and all balls bearings in the steering head, and it was like a new bike, and it's like even better now. I'm really pleased with it now. So that 5.5 inch, I'm going to question that from now on, and I'm going to use my method where the fork is fully assembled. You just undo the caps, and on the right one you got to pull that stem out of the way and just slide down past it, and the other one you can just take the cap off. And so really like, we're going over these bumps now, and this is nothing. I don't even feel them. Excellent. You could hear it in my voice before, all the little ripples in the road when I was talking on my moto vlogs. You could hear my voice bouncing when I hit a bump, where now it doesn't seem to bother. So Jarvisbiker is a very pleased individual. I don't know whether you realize where we're going yet or not, but we're gonna see if we can get some Burger King drive-through. We're gonna have to eat it outside, but I'm starving and I'm sick and tired of Tim Hortons and everybody else. Swiss Chalet, they seem to be dummied down tonight. They were gonna open for weeks, but now all of a sudden they're not. So it's March 27th, 2020, if anybody's wondering what the date is. Grip warmers are getting a little too hot. The other thing, I guess we should change the spark plugs. These seem to be still firing all right, but I'll probably change them out, get some fresh ones in there again. That'll be a good gauge because I know how old these are, and I'll be able to tell what if there's any fouling on them, how long it actually took to do that. So camera's on a bit of a tilt, but I just slapped it onto this helmet, so if there's no audio on this, I'm pretty well done. I'm just gonna revamp everything, but I ordered 4 little microphones, and we'll see if I can make something out of them. The one that failed was the one that was like the old intercom 5-pin-in system. It's just like the microphone just crapped out, just nothing. I don't think it was a broken wire, but could be, maybe. Tilsonburg. Ooh, tar snake. It's a little slippy dip. Headset's running out of juice. Got some all-terrain vehicle people around here. Probably out ripping up the old cornfields.
Big Summer Rock Shore. Although I've lived so Big Rock Summer. But it's a hell of a lot of rock. Still goes fly. So, for a big formation.
Wow, there we go. That was Burger King. That was good. Got an itch on my nose and I can't scratch it. Ah, heck. I got it. So yeah, Americade. There's a couple of people here saying that they're going to be going if it's on. Memphis Mike was one of them. Half Moto Will Travel's another one. And I believe Craig Hainsworth also mentioned it, that he might be going. So I'm going to try to hook something up with that group somewhere along the way. Once it's over, I'll probably head to New Hampshire anyway, so because it's pretty much there anyway. So yeah, I'll have to have a little more dialogue on that if it is going to be taking place. Maybe that I think it's June, July time. So we'll have to see. Be nice to have a little group. Get out there in that New York State, Eastern New York State, do a little rolling around there with the Goldwings. That could be a good idea. This the virus is really going to impede on the motorcycle trips for me if the border doesn't open up soon. And so we want to go to New Hampshire. We won't be able to go until it opens up, but I do have that extra week's holidays as well this year, so that I didn't use. So I'll probably work that in and all dependent on COVID-19 and US borders opening up. Rolling right along, having a lovely ride. Electrical connection, LED headlights, top shelf. Good job, people. One of the best safety features I've added to this bike. Like this road ahead of me right now at dusk is like daylight. Whether the camera picks it up or not. Let's hit the high beam. See what I mean? Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Worth every penny. Easy to install, really. Basically, all you had to do is take off this grill and this top cowl, get it out of the way. Gives you a straight shot right into there. There's two little brackets that you have to undo the one end and just tilt them out of the way. All they are is supports for the upper part of the fairing. So you just tilt them out of the way, do what you got to do in there, and then tilt them back and put the little cap screw back in. Worked great. Those lights are bright. Awesome. Back to Jarvis, Ontario. Okay, so hit the like, hit the subscribe, and click the little bell, and you'll get notified whenever I put out any more videos. And to my subscribers, we're at 40 now. Wait for that big 50 milestone. And hopefully it comes soon. Maybe get a few more. And we'll see you all later. So, Jarvisbiker saying good night. Good night.